Most people lost a lot of money investing in silver. Over the last 6 months, silver prices soared from less than $50 to as high as $120. At first, a lot of people made money. Then silver prices collapsed to about $70 and they're barely struggling to actually cross $80. Back in December, when silver prices were about $75 to $80, I made a video warning everybody that you should not be buying silver because it's a bubble and prices are going to collapse, which is exactly what happened. When prices collapsed, I received a lot of questions. Maybe it is the time to buy silver since the bubble has burst. But I made a long post on the Investing Academy telling everybody that you should not be investing in silver because the prices are not going to grow that much. You can make far more money investing in alternative assets. Did I do that just because silver prices collapsed? No. If you look at gold, when gold prices collapsed from $5,300 to as low as $4,300, I made a long post telling everybody that I'm going to buy a lot more gold. Maybe you should also consider buying gold. And since then, gold prices have actually recovered to almost $5,000 and most likely they will continue rising. So the real question right now is, will silver prices cross $100, maybe $150? In this video, I will explain why silver is still a bad investment, and most people who are thinking that they will make a lot of money investing in silver are not actually making a wise decision. So if you're ready, give this video a thumbs up and let's get right into it. To understand what's going to happen with silver prices, you have to ask yourself a very simple question. Who exactly is buying silver? Now, there are three main types of buyers. First of all, it is the industrial demand. These are huge businesses that are producing technologies, phones, computers, cameras, solar panels, you name it. Why? Because silver is one of the best tools, if not the best in the world, to transmit electricity. So when you're building those tiny little chips or computer chips, they need silver in order to ensure that they transmit electricity exceptional. And because it's far better than any other metal, there is always demand for a lot of silver. Everything that you use, from your solar panels to your computer, has a slight amount of silver. The second type of silver buyers are investors. These are the people who actually look at silver and they know that historically silver has actually proven itself to be an asset that preserves wealth. So if you're an investor, you would buy a certain amount of silver hoping that as the dollar loses its value, you are going to capitalize on the price of silver and you're going to make a lot of money. Now, the third type of buyers are speculators. These people don't actually care about the silver itself or the industrial demand. They're like, the more there is fluctuations in the market, we buy low, we sell high, or vice versa. When the price is peaked, we're going to short the market and we're going to profit from the collapse of the prices. The problem with the silver market is that all of these three buyers have completely different interests. So let's go to the industrial demand. They want lower prices. Let me ask you a question. Imagine you are building solar panels, okay? Do you think you want higher silver prices or you want lower silver prices? As the business that is producing solar panels, you want to minimize your cost so that you can maximize your profits. Just because silver is so important, it doesn't mean that you want to overpay for this material, right? So your main concern in the entire industrial demand is that you want the lowest possible price because you're using it as a material in the product that you're producing. But what about investors? Do you think investors want lower prices or higher prices? They want higher prices. If I bought silver in hopes that I will make more money in the future, now I don't care about anybody else. All I want for silver prices to rise as much as possible because the more they rise, the more profit I will make. Do you see the problem that these two largest buyers of silver have conflictive interests? And that is why we have the speculators. They want to create volatility in the price because they know that half of the market wants lower prices and the other half of the market wants higher prices. And that's the biggest problem with the silver market. And that is why silver is such a bad investment. If you look who is buying most of the silver, it is basically industrial demand. 60% of all the demand that is coming for silver is for industrial use. We're using silver in almost all technologies that we're using on day-to-day basis, you name it. Especially in the last 10 to 15 years, we've been producing far more technology than in any other part in human history, which is why the demand for silver has exploded, which is why silver prices have increased so much. Here's the problem. If silver prices rise too high, industrial demand will move to alternatives like copper. If you're a company that is producing some kind of a technology like solar panels, and now silver prices, for example, hit $200, what are you going to do? You will start looking for alternatives. The problem with the alternatives today is that because silver is so good and because it has been so cheap over the last so many decades, it was profitable and affordable for these large companies to simply buy silver. If silver prices will rise to unaffordable levels, then the industrial demand will start using copper, or they will start investing in how to use copper much more effectively because they no longer can actually make their business much more profitable. Do you see the problem? So the industrial demand for silver will remain there as long as buying silver is affordable. But industrial demand is already investing in alternative options. You can see multiple businesses, multiple industrial companies, they're literally investing already in alternative options because they know that in the long run, they cannot possibly entirely rely on silver alone. And here's the thing, there is simply too much silver in the world. If we simply take gold and we compare it to silver, we can see that there are around 59,000 tons left of gold, while there is more than 650,000 tons of silver left. By looking at this number alone, we can already come to the conclusion to understand that there is far more silver in the world than gold, which means that there is going to be plenty of silver anyways. We will keep extracting silver for many decades to come. Here's the most important question. Is it actually possible to replace silver? In theory, yes, it is possible. We can entirely do that. But why we haven't done that if it's actually possible? For the exact same reason. If silver prices are affordable, nobody is going to invest in alternative technologies. The moment silver becomes so expensive that for businesses it no longer makes financial sense, they will start investing in alternative technologies. Even if you take copper, if you start using copper in your technology, it is not going to be financially feasible for you because we haven't actually spent decades building the infrastructure to make it possible. The moment the dynamic of the market changes, the market starts investing in copper and other alternative options for the next 5 to 10 years, suddenly the market will be shifting from silver to copper and other alternative assets. And you can see that happening already throughout the entire industry. For example, silver is used a lot in silverware, but since silver prices have actually increased more than $35 an ounce, that means that all of these silverwares are actually moving to stainless steel. That's why the demand for silver is going down. Let's take solar panels. More than $50 per solar panel, it no longer makes financial sense, which is why starting from 2025, a lot of these companies are already moving to different materials. Let's take photography. This is a very good example. Photography is a piece of technology, and historically we've been using silver to create cameras. The camera that's in your phone, the camera that is recording me right now. But because we have realized that we need so many cameras in the world, literally everybody has a small little camera in his pocket. Your glasses probably even have camera. We realized that we have to move away from silver. Today, literally the demand for silver in the camera industry is less than 2%. So we completely replace silver with alternative materials. And the same thing could possibly happen in the long run to many other industries. But here's the thing. Because we are going through this entire AI revolution and there is a race who is going to build the first data centers across the globe and will dominate AI, there is a lot of demand for silver. If you're investing $1 trillion to build data centers, a small increase in silver prices is not going to have a huge difference in your entire business model. And that is why when it comes to the nano transmitters or the nano chips that are being built, the most advanced chips in the world, they can afford even $150 or $200. They won't see a huge difference in their cost even if silver prices are going to rise to more than $200. But again, that is not the vast majority of the demand, which is why silver prices haven't actually increased to more than $200. Well, if that's the case, why did silver prices spike so many times? And if you look at silver prices over the last 70 years, you'll see that there are three major spikes. And every single time, these spikes have been created by speculators, the people who want to manipulate the market and profit from that volatility. And I'm not exaggerating at all. Even the last increase in prices was created artificially to manipulate the price, and the speculators made the most amount of money. If you're a speculator, you are going to use an asset whose market cap is very small. Let's compare silver to other assets in the market. The total market cap of silver right now is about $1.5 trillion. At first, that seems like a lot of money. But let's compare that to gold. The total market cap of gold is about $25 to $30 trillion if you take the recent numbers. The total market cap of stocks is about $110 trillion. I mean, silver is even smaller than Apple, and Apple is just one company in the entire stock market. So the size of the total silver today is as much as Bitcoin. It is a lot easier to manipulate the price of silver. It's a lot easier. Like, you can actually spike the price with $100 million demand. You can create such a huge spike in prices with so little money. But if you invest $100 million in the stock market, you're not going to actually create any kind of a real spike in the stock market. You can do that with individual stocks, but you're going to lose your money because it's very visible and investors know that this is basically market manipulation and you will basically just lose your money. The problem is that most silver is being traded with futures, so there is a lot of leverage. So for example, when you're buying silver, you're not actually buying the silver itself. You're actually buying a future that guarantees you silver. A future is basically a contract that tells you that you can buy a specific amount of silver at a certain time in the future at a specific price. Because you haven't actually gotten your silver yet, you can only put a small leverage or a small down payment. So instead of putting the entire money, which is 100% of the silver, you can literally just buy $100 worth of silver with 5% down payment. So with $5, you can buy $100 worth of silver. And that leverage position allows investors to go there with a few $100 million. They can create so much demand that the price of silver is going to spike dramatically higher. Now here is the problem. Because investors want higher prices and they see that the price of silver is rising so fast, they will start buying a lot of silver. But on the other side, we know that industries want much lower price. So they are waiting for silver prices to collapse. So the moment silver prices actually reach a certain point, in this case about $116, I think at their peak they were $120, then the people who actually led the price to spike, they will start shorting the market. And when there is a lot of shorting in the market, the price is going to collapse and these people are going to buy them. So at the end of the day, who is winning from this strategy? Exactly, the speculators who are trying to manipulate the price due to global events. And it's very easy to do that when there are a lot of instability in the world. A war breaks out, there are tensions between China and the United States. So, for example, there was a trade war between the United States of America and China. And China is like, oh, silver is a very important critical material, so we are going to ban exports of silver. Suddenly, that is going to put in the headlines. Everybody will see that maybe there is going to be a huge shortage of silver in the market. And speculators will capitalize on that. They will instantly buy a lot of silver. The price is going to spike. And the normal average investors looking at the price, they're like, we have to buy it before it reaches $200. But the problem is that the average investors who are not pro investors, who don't understand the market, they will look at the price of silver. It is rising so fast and they want to make money. So they will start buying it. All that demand will keep increasing the price so high. But the speculators, they know that they're not there to actually invest in the long run. They are there to speculate on the price of silver. So the moment it reaches a certain point, they will start shorting the market. They will start dumping all of their futures, which means that the price is going to collapse after that. Yes, the war and the tension would have increased the price, but it might have increased the price by 5%, maybe 7%, maybe 10%. But the speculators are going to amplify that increase by 100% or 150%. And then eventually it is going to collapse. So the factors that drive gold prices and silver prices are very different. The reason that gold prices are increasing are very, very different than the reasons why silver prices are increasing. And that's why in this case, for example, buying gold actually makes sense, but buying silver doesn't actually make sense. I know that I will be bombarded with negative comments that I don't understand what is happening, but this is unfortunately how the system works. And that's why it's very, very important for you to understand the system. I'm not saying this to put somebody down. I'm not saying this to criticize somebody. All I'm doing is just telling you how the system works so that you can use this and make as much money as possible. That's why I told everybody not to buy silver, and that's why I told everybody to buy gold when gold prices crashed. Why invest in silver when you can actually invest in gold? Think about this for a moment. If gold is a far safer investment and you know for a fact that price is going to rise, and there are a lot of doubts when it comes to silver because there is so many speculators, why would you actually take that risk? How much more money can you make with silver? Or you can basically invest in the stock market and make much more money. If you can invest in the stock market and double your money, and you know that for a fact because you're such a good investment and you know how to analyze stocks, how to pick good investments, why would you even go and buy silver when the returns are not that guaranteed? When the returns seem very suspicious, when you know that there's so many speculators. And that's why, if you want to master investing and you want a step-by-step guide on how you make your first $1 million and early identify where should you invest and which investment you should be avoiding, join the Investing Academy. And as a bonus, you will find out what are the top investments you should be making right now.